This one? All right. So this is totally impromptu, but in the course of May, from like mid-May to mid-June, I decided to watch One Piece for the first time. I wish I had like some sort of presentation here, but I decided to go for it because I recently quit my job, and I didn't quit my job because I wanted to watch One Piece for a month, but there was a time that I was going through, and I went back to go ahead and go study for a bit. So I had a bunch of free time on my hands, and so I decided, what's the most ridiculous thing that I can think of? So I decided to go ahead and try and watch all of One Piece within a month. So what I did for proof was I live streamed the whole thing on YouTube, and well, yeah, I started from the beginning, and there were probably like 1, 2, maybe 3 people watching. It was mostly just a couple of friends of mine, and I made like a TikTok every day when I was done. I originally planned to like watch it for like 14 to 15 hours each day. That wasn't happening. As soon as I discovered like what it's actually like to sit through and binge watch the same show pretty much nonstop, I realized, okay, I'll be lucky if I can average 12 hours a day. So that means like no days off. If I had extra time, it would be, I would take like maybe half a day or so. There were things in between, like Easter, actually. It was April to May. And if any of you want to see proof of it, I have the archives on my YouTube channel. It's Pitus Liker, one word. But yeah, the whole experience was very crazy. I was very tired. I was pretty much like dead for most of the experience. Yes?
So, pacing-wise, how did you do it? I mean, like, you know, what was the first number you said that went down to 12?
Yeah,
You said it was, it ended up being 12 hours. You said what, 14, 15?
Yeah, yeah. So, in order to squeeze in as many episodes as possible, I made a rule for myself to only watch the intro and outro like the first time it airs, and then I would skip the intro, skip the outro, skip the previews. I didn't skip some of the recaps just because I was so tired. It felt important to actually retain some of the old information.
Because it becomes like mind-numbing after a certain point, but you also need to be able to recap of it. But
yeah.
Also, like, so between, like you said, 12 hours, it ended being how would you plan, like, you know, breaks, meals,
yeah,
getting up to walk around, actually doing, you know, not, you know, atrophy, you know, that kind of shit, you know?
For sure, for sure. It was a very difficult experience. I ended up meal prepping during the entire time. If you're stopping by for the speed run, that person didn't show up, so they offered anyone to take up the panel. I'm talking about my experience of watching 1,000 episodes of One Piece in 30 days.
Holy
shit. Do you want to stick around for that?
That's a hell of an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks for the heads up, man.
All right.
So you said you ended up doing meal preps. I mean, like,
yes.
Just like good ones, not good or bad ones, but I mean like stuff that, because I mean it's a lot of sitting down. I mean, like, did you watch any on the go?
Yeah. So
at that point, right?
well, so I was live streaming the whole thing for proof. So I was actually very sedentary during it. I was just sitting in front of my computer. I did watch it on my phone, but I was like live streaming with a webcam for proof.
Right. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. Whenever I would go and get up to like grab food or to go for meal breaks or
Stretch,
whatever.
whatever, man, anything of that sort, right?
Yeah, I watched the thing on my phone and I was like carrying it around on a tripod.
So it was phone and like, I guess GoPro or whatever, you know, you used to film type of thing, or?
No, it was just my webcam. It was all stationary on the desktop.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get
yeah. I wasn't very active for most of it until I reached about Dressrosa. And then once I hit Dressrosa, then I started to get a lot of insomnia when I was trying to sleep. Because apparently, when your body doesn't move around much and you're sitting there like watching something for a long time, your brain gets tired, but your body doesn't. So my body was still awake. And
This wants to go to bed, but
Yeah.
this doesn't.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I know what you mean, man.
For sure. So the biggest and most important thing, and I actually really considered quitting like around day 21
No,
because the insomnia got so bad. But I told myself, just give it one more day. Forget about the challenge. Just try and make it through Dressrosa because that arc was so long. It was definitely worth finishing out at least one more day. That's when I changed up my strategy and I decided to actually make take like midday breaks and just go for a walk, go outside, go touch grass for a little bit. That is crucial.
Right?
Yeah,
You need it, man.
absolutely.
Sunlight, vitamin D, all that kind of stuff. You need it, so it's like, you know, you gotta stretch the legs, stretch out. So I mean,
Yeah,
the feat in and of itself is amazing, because I mean, knowing the length of, and it's still flipping going,
yeah.
is insane.
So specifically, I watched it not just the 1,000 episodes, but 1,016 because the episodes were airing like Wano was still going on, and Wano was going on at the time as well. So new episodes were coming out as I was watching it, and I wanted to watch it to completion.
That I get it.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So 1,016. Yes.
If you ever had that time again, would you do it with another show or would you not do it again?
Probably not. This was a very unique circumstance while I was in between jobs and I had the spare time available. And it also helped that I had some savings and I was living at my parents' place, still am. There's a lot of circumstances that have to go right in order to be able to be in a good position for that. You have to be able to not be able to work for a month, and you have to be able to live in just a single place and not have to worry too much about doing chores. And thankfully, living with my parents, I was able to get additional help. I told them about it ahead of time too, and it was definitely like pretty wild just even rehearsing saying it to them and trying to explain what I was trying to do.
So it was like saying, it's like, I'm gonna watch 1,000, or try to watch as much. I mean, was it 1,000 the goal or is it as much?
So the goal was to make it to the last aired episode.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, it's awkward to say that my goal was to watch all of the episodes because now there are more
It's still
episodes that
airing,
came
yeah.
out. Yeah. But at the time, it was all the episodes that
So it was
aired.
like, I'm gonna watch One Piece, try to watch One Piece up to date, asterisk, with, you know, certain circumstance and all that kind of stuff being, you know, dealt, you know, how it works, right?
Yeah.
Man, nice, good on you, man. I think that.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious, like, so you said some of your friends were watching, or are some of your fans, like, also fans of One Piece, like they had watched the show and wanted to see, like, your reaction to it, or were they
Yeah.
also kind of diving into it?
Yeah, so that's what's really cool about it. So, first off, it was mostly just a few friends of mine that I had met online before. But then as I made daily TikToks, more people were coming in and watching the live streams along with it because I was adding probably like the One Piece hashtag to it and people were searching it up.
It's quite an endeavor, though. I mean, like, it's something that catches the eye.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to do this giant task in this window of time.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a quite thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I would say that one of the other things was that I also did like a simulcast live stream. So I found this third-party software that allowed me to watch through like Funimation or Crunchyroll, and people could log into their accounts and watch at the same time. I couldn't play the footage on YouTube because it would immediately get taken down.
Yeah.
But people could still watch along with me, and it would be in perfect sync when they hooked it up with the third-party app and connected either their Crunchyroll account or their Funimation account. It was really cool.
So one other thing, if there were any points, I mean, because my friend here, he watched, he's big, up-to-date, big fan. I watch clips, I know of certain things, I don't make points, but at some point, I mean, with the filler, how often were you rolling your eyes and being like, come on?
Oh my God.
that exactly right there, you're like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, the filler, okay, so I didn't mind some of the filler. I think some of it was all right. I didn't realize at first, because I was pretty much going into it completely blind. I had no idea like what constituted as filler, but I think the common definition is like, if it's not in the manga, it's filler. That's what it seems
That's
to
like
be.
the cut and dry act, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what filler is. It's like, they're making time, because I mean, I guess it's still writing it, animating it, or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily mind most of the filler, although when I said that I was going to watch every episode, I had no idea that some of the episodes were almost entirely recaps of previous episodes. That was the worst part of it,
I
for
mean,
sure.
how many episodes, I mean, if there were any, I mean, where the gang goes to the beach kind of filler type of nonsense, you know? It's all there.
Those are like the good episodes too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is one that there was
I mean, there's not that many that really come to mind. I think about I think about like the Davy Back games, and I think about like that captured the flag mini arc that they had. But yeah, as far as it went, if it was a numbered episode, I watched it, and if it wasn't like one of the listed numbered episodes, then it just wasn't on my list to watch.
But
So
it's not
yeah.
numbered, is it most commonly considered, not useless, but I mean, just like, nonsensical filler?
yeah.
Kind of, sort of?
Hi there. So the person that was supposed to be here for speed running didn't show up, so they offered to take up the panel slot, and I'm talking about my experience of watching over 1,000 episodes of One Piece in 30 days.
Oh wow.
All right. Yes.
So I'm kind of curious. So as we're talking about like the filler, was there any like arcs during your watch of One Piece that surprised like? So you probably like figure out like after the fact or like maybe during like. Was there any arcs that kind of surprised you that weren't like an arc that you read that was like, oh, this seems like filler, that actually turned out to be like completely canon? Because the Davy Back fight is actually like completely canon.
Really?
Like, yeah, no, it's happened in the manga. It was like, it's so weird because it happens like right after the Marine Fort, like GA, I think the arc where they like accidentally fall into a Marine Fort.
I think that was Davy Back. I think that was right in between Skypiea and Water 7.
Yeah. And it's so weird because people like, the GA arc's really good, so people are like, oh, it's a really cool arc in One Piece, but it's actually filler.
Yeah.
And the Davy Back fight, people are kind of, I personally love it, but like I know a lot of folks kind of feel like it's weirdly placed, but it's actually canon. So like, is there any like arcs that kind of surprised you like that, like filler, or but like you enjoyed them?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty hard to say. I think Skypiea pleasantly surprised me, and I actually, like, when people ask me what my least favorite arc was in One Piece, I do tend to say Skypiea. And the reason why it, like, still pleasantly surprised me was because I thought that the beginning of it was incredibly slow, but then it picked up quite a bit, and as they started telling the Nolan the Liar backstory, I really got into it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What do you think about the pacing of it, though? I mean, because I mean, you have it kind of fresh,
Yeah.
I mean, is it good pacing, bad pacing? Because I know there's other shows. I mean, me and him talk about it a lot.
Mhm.
Hunter, the show, the anime, has awful pacing. Hunter
Yeah.
has awful pacing. But I mean, with One Piece, they kind of really try to get into each character, and
Yeah.
then you try to, delve into their stories. So,
I think there was about like a dozen or so anime that I've seen, so I have a very limited frame of reference by comparison. But I would say that One Piece was probably one of the more difficult shows to get through when it came to pacing. I'd be lying if I said that it was all sunshine and rainbows. It was a bit of a challenge compared to some of the other shows that I've seen.
Right, I would imagine. 'Cause
I have not seen Hunter x Hunter, so can't quite say it.
Again, like, just, you know, forewarning, the pacing is not,
Yeah,
to me at least, my personal opinion on the show, maybe if you read it, it might be better, but I mean, the pacing on the show itself, I mean, it drags, it's slow.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that I don't recommend trying to watch 1,000 episodes of One Piece in 30 days.
Makes sense.
It's a good way to get TikTok followers, I'll tell you that. Like, that was pretty
speaking of
much
which, okay, so do you know your number before and after the fact?
Oh, what was it?
Do you know your follower number before?
Oh, yeah.
After the fact, I mean,
Yeah,
how much of a,
Before I started the challenge, I was at about 150 followers, and then after the end of the challenge, I was over 3,000. So that was a pretty big jump.
so was it a challenge, was it a challenge that you imposed on yourself?
Yes,
It was like, I'm doing this, I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna see how far I can go type thing.
it
right?
was all about thinking of the most ridiculous idea that I could do while I had free time available. Yes.
So you kind of already mentioned like your least favorite arc was Skypiea. What would you say is your favorite arc?
Water 7. Without a doubt, Water 7. It had some of the most dramatic and emotional moments throughout the entire series, and it's when I felt, I mean, I guess you could argue Arlong Park also had some of that same emotional tension between crewmates, but I thought that Water 7 took it to an even deeper level and was like just an incredibly intense and dramatic emotional tension that I did not see coming whatsoever.
Now, when you say War 7, you also like include like the NS lobby stuff as well?
I don't. I consider those like separate arcs.
Yeah, but I definitely agree
Yeah.
with the whole emotional tension.
Yeah.
Is very high in that arc.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So seeing as how you binged it, I mean, you know, watch that much of it, quick one. Who's your favorite character?
Beppo. That was actually a meme that I did. It's a funny story, but as I was having such a hard time picking a favorite crewmate,
Yeah.
so I just made it a meme that no matter what happened, I would say that Beppo was my favorite character in the show. And it was kind of just like my throwaway non-answer.
Minus the meme, you genuinely mean that, like, at this point?
I mean, that's really hard to say. I think afterwards, I really became fond of Pedro. I think he is an incredible character. If you're talking like characters with actual depth, I think that would probably be my real answer. Beppo's more so my meme.
So this is a meme answer than a genuine answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, me myself, I'm a basic simp for Zoro,
Mhm.
obviously. I mean, come on, who isn't?
Yeah.
You know, I simp that. I'll admit that. I don't care. He's awesome. He's
Yeah.
sick.
Oh yeah, I love.
Especially Bandana.
Yeah.
Ooh, my
It's just so hard for me to choose between Straw Hat characters because I love them all in each and every way. And to me, it feels wrong to like pick one above the others.
They're all
because
my children. I love you all. I can't just single one out type of thing, right? It's like,
right, it's like choosing your favorite child. It's just not fair.
So, on the course of like favorite characters, is there any characters like who annoyed you or like you hated that kind of like redeemed themselves over the series?
Redeem themselves. Okay.
We're talking redemption now.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of them, but it was. I'll try to avoid spoilering, but it was like the one redeemable celestial dragon. That was.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that would be. That was a really cool one. Yes.
If you could have any devil fruit, what would it be?
That's a tough one.
Well,
There's a lot of really good devil fruit out there. It's hard to pick one, and I really don't want to say the clear fruit. know if I have an
I
answer.
don't know, but laws. That's mine.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
That's.
you'd be the perfect surgeon. Yeah.
Good lord. I mean.
You get paid the big
He's
bucks.
more well versed than me, but I mean, I know law stuff is disgusting. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say whatever Ace had. Again, not as well versed as my friend here, but I mean like Ace's was cool, Fire Fist, like all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
law.
Ace had a very solid fruit for sure.
But it's also kind of situational. I mean, like based on like it's flame, it's fire, right? I mean, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So put him in a below zero, it's like can he still ignite and like that kind of thing? Does he
Yeah.
make flames or does he control or like he is flames?
Yes.
I-
Yes is the answer.
I think actually, I think the one that I would really like would probably be the door fruit,
Oh, that's good.
because you could just make a door through anything. You could, yeah.
Your shoulder's now a door.
Oh no,
And
that's horrific.
I
That's
just
horrific.
love that.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, hey, your mouth now a door. Hey, your face now a door. Oh no.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
different kinds of
Just the ability to turn anything into a door is incredible. Yes.
What was the arc that made you the saddest? Like, what was an arc that made you want to cry?
Water 7, easily. Whole cake also, but Water 7, I was just an absolute emotional wreck because of all of that character tension that happened. It was, there were a lot of times where I cried on camera, for sure. And actually, the end of Annie's, wait, is it Annie? Which one comes after Water 7? Is it Annie's Lobby?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, Annie's Lobby is, the very end of Annie's Lobby, and people were also telling me, like, wait until that last episode. Wait until that specific episode where a certain,
Inanimate object.
a certain inanimate object
Oh.
crashed and burned. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That'll do.
that one made me just lose so many tears. They just kept
No,
coming.
no, not tears. It was raining on your face. It was raining on your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Raining indoors.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anyone else have any questions?
Is out of the entire span that you've watched, is there any one very, very specific moment that hit you? One moment that hit you in that right there, in the gut or the heart?
I think it was the big fight between Luffy and Usopp. Like,
Yeah.
that was the one that I remember the strongest, and it was the reason why Water 7 was just so powerful. It was incredible. And I felt a similar situation with Sanji at Whole Cake and everything too. Like that was pretty much on par. But since it's on par, and the one with Usopp and Water 7 happened first, I had to choose that. Oh, and also just that scene after like Usopp gets beat up and then the rest of the crew stand by to face off against Frankie. Like that was just such an incredible badass moment. I loved
Also
it.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
So, I'm kind of curious. What's your favorite and least favorite post-time skip design among like the Straw Hat crew specifically?
Oh, Usopp's easily.
Favorite?
I just like when the redesigns were revealed, I immediately yelled out something along the lines of, "Damn, he's jacked!" It was great.
Oh, no, he's hot.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that same energy. Like I was so shocked at how much muscle that Usopp gained.
Like
Like
I got swole.
yeah, he was like that scared weakling, and then he like
He's jacked and also a scared weakling.
yeah.
Goddamn.
But he looks good doing it.
Yeah.
Right, that's what- confidence is key.
Definitely.
Confidence is key.
Yeah. What about your least favorite?
The least favorite redesign?
Like,
I would say probably Frankie, just because I absolutely loved his hair. Although I will say that I do appreciate some of his hair redesigns, but also like I liked seeing the cyborg kind of resemble more of a human, and then he took more of a robot form, and I felt like he was leaving a lot of his old self behind that I really loved in the first place.
I kind of think, yeah, I kind of think it's a little too like bulky, personally myself.
Yeah, I would agree with
besides
that.
the girls with their
Yeah.
With their bosom.
No
Yeah.
comment.
I would say Frankie's probably my least favorite as well.
Yeah, I should also mention, bringing up Frankie, I did watch the dub at the beginning of it until I ran out of dubbed episodes. So like up until Whole Cake, I watched all dub, and then when I had to watch the sub, I transformed to the sub, and it actually wasn't that difficult. But the nice thing about watching the dub was that I could take my eyes off the screen, and all I have to do is just listen, and I still know what's going
Do
on.
like the whole up and down type of like stuff, you know, to
Yeah.
read the text and then, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can miss some things, obviously. You can miss a lot.
Yeah.
This is like translator.
And the reason why Frankie ties into it is because personally, I really loved his dub voice. Hearing it, I thought it like perfectly represented him. And then when I heard that high-pitched version of Frankie in the sub, I was like, man, this doesn't fit him at all. Like it just sounds so drastically different.
I love the Fun Boy and Frankie. So I only really watched the dub after like 4 Kids.
Yeah.
X amount of years ago. So.
For sure, yeah.
But, yeah,
We had a pretty different experience overall. Yeah. Watching the dub first, I grew very attached to that voice. Although there's a few voices here and there where I do prefer the sub. Honestly, like it's kind of a blur. I haven't watched any episodes since 10/16, just because I felt like I needed to take a break from the show.
I mean, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I ended up like binging actually. It's kind of similar experience. I ended up binging One Piece back in high school.
Mhm.
Kind of similar, like as not doing sports at the time, or like being out of season for sports and all that kind of stuff. Like I had like a couple months to just crank out episodes.
You know,
Yeah.
And so like I ended up catching up to One Piece like right about the time skip. I want to say at the time. So I kind of have, I feel like a similar like feeling to that, and just like how that operated, like the various like feelings you get when you like really like crank out a show like that of that magnitude in that amount of time period.
Yeah.
I ended up hooking my brother up on it too. Like a couple years later, like he ended up like binging it too, like in between his shifts at work.
Right. Yeah, I mean, most people that get into One Piece, it takes them years to catch up. Like probably, I want to say like 2 or 3 if they're watching it consistently.
because I mean, then you're working with like working around the work, and then it's
Right. I mean, each arc you could consider to be like its own anime, honestly. Like, yeah, like there's plenty of shows that have the length of like a single One Piece arc. So,
One other thing, I think this one's gonna be a good one. Did you? I mean, since you were binging, or I mean, I guess, yeah, binging. I mean, did you see any plot holes or contradictions within the show itself that were easily pointed out that they just kind of glossed over type of thing?
it's possible.
With that much length, I mean, 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
There has to be certain things. I mean,
I might have pointed it out at the time, but I don't
nothing
remember
like comes
it.
to mind though. But I mean,
Yeah.
there definitely were some, right? I mean, it's like how
I'm
does
sure there
A
were.
happen to B, but C still happens type of thing. I mean,
I think there definitely were moments where I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this happening when like this
That's what I'm
other
saying, it's like
condition
I'm,
was already set? Yeah, for sure.
similar but not very much comparable. I mean, like the MCU, 22 films, 22 plus films, they have a bunch of plot holes and contradictions that they made themselves. So I
Yeah.
mean, I would imagine a show that's like One Piece, 1,000 plus. I mean, the writing is amazing, the
Mhm.
characters are great, but I mean, nothing's perfect.
Oh yeah.
There might be some plot holes, some self-contradictions, some roundabouts that you think, hey, but if he has this, sword or power or whatever, how does this explain what happened before, or vice versa?
Yeah. All I can say is that I am far from an analyst of the show.
You're a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is purely just someone that had a lot of time on their hands and knew kind of how to just run an experiment, like a physical experiment on how far you can take binge watching.
So would you call it success?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I completed
Oh.
1,016 episodes within 30 days. That last day, I think I spent a little bit over 14 hours. And whenever I would spend like a 13 or 14-hour day, I might have even been 15 on that last day. It was very long, but that like I set a goal from the start, and I hit that goal. So yeah,
So
absolutely.
on long days, I mean, like, it's gonna sound kind of bullshitty, but I mean, like, yes, you chose to do this, but I mean, like, on long days where you felt successful, did you ever, like, treat yourself to, like, a good meal? You know, like, I watched more than I wanted to. Did I ever treat myself like, I'm gonna order something nice, I'm gonna get something nice?
Not particularly to treat myself, but just like while
escape.
managing my meal prep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would order things in between if I didn't quite feel like cooking that day, and I schedule things out. On the last day, I ordered something from my favorite Italian place and I helped myself to a chicken parm sub sandwich, and that was much nicer than my regular meal of chicken, rice, and peas.
Oh, yeah, that would do, yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty much eating like the same thing for every meal. I would have cereal for breakfast, and then lunch and dinner would be chicken, rice, and peas. And the only way that I would mix it up is I would change like the sauce that I would add on there.
You
Like,
gotta mix it up.
sometimes I would do hot sauce, sometimes I would
do
do barbecue, but like I didn't have much time to really think about meal prepping, especially because when I came up with the idea, I wanted to space it out before my sister graduated college, so that way I could attend her college graduation. So I really didn't have much time to prep ahead of time. I just like picked one meal to meal prep for
That
the
covers your
entire.
bases, like, it's like, I
experience.
need my grains, my da-da-da-da-da, all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
speaking of which, I'm a planning, so, I mean, how did the planning go about it? I mean, because you said you had the graduation, I mean, like, was it like,
Yeah.
a goal to finish it before?
Yeah, so basically, I didn't want to miss her graduation, so I had to space out just enough time for myself in between obligations. And that was how I scheduled everything. And then it was just like one straight month, completely dedicated to One Piece. There were a few half days that I took here and there.
I mean,
Which
everyone
were
has
pretty
personal
nice.
life, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's like,
They were like 7-8 hour days. I still call them half days, but yeah, gave myself a few extra hours to either like go outside and touch grass, or I actually had, I believe, 2 D&D sessions, so I could socialize with friends and I wouldn't feel
other people,
horrible loneliness. Yeah.
not loop your,
Right.
all that kind of shit.
When you're
You
staying in
had-
one place for a long time and you don't see a lot of other people, like the extreme loneliness can be very mentally damaging. So
Hashtag pandemic.
yeah, for sure. For
Not
sure.
a good one, but a bad one. So you made time to actually socialize. So good on you.
Thank
Because
you.
I mean, when you lose that, it gets tough.
Absolutely.
It gets tough. I mean, like, it's been what now, 3 years of total BS
Yeah.
about. So like,
Yeah.
good on you for making time to actually be able to socialize. Meet with friends, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yes, alone time is nice to a degree.
For sure.
And then it comes to a line where you're just past that and it's like, wait a minute, when was the last time I saw someone that wasn't me in the mirror that I was like, what's up, buddy?
Right.
Go get
for
lunch
sure.
or whatever that thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Even if
the
it's
fact that
just
you
like
make time,
Even if it's just like 2 or 3 hours with a few other people, like it can make the world of a difference.
those 2 or 3 hours feel like a day.
Mhm.
And you're just like, oh man, I forgot what social interaction is like.
And keeping your eyes off of the screen, like that's the nice thing about tabletop gaming, is that you don't have to look at a screen anymore. You can kind of just you can just let your eyes rest for a little bit. And like that was the other thing too about when I would take a break, I would go for a walk outside, and I wouldn't even bring my phone with me. Like I wanted,
Because you don't want it. You don't want it.
I wanted zero screen time during
It's
that.
like the tabletop thing is like I'm not talking to you through a phone. I'm literally looking at you in the eyes and saying,
Yeah.
okay, so what's your next move? I mean, I'm tabletop. I'm not big. I have no idea what that is. It's like, what's your next move? Next roll? But I can look at you in the eyes and say that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difference between talking through the web as compared to talking to a person like we are right now,
For sure.
in person.
Yeah, that's why I love conventions like these, because
Con is great.
we get to meet up with like so many people that we would normally only make friends like over the internet, and to especially like because I lived in like a fairly small town, so there's not a lot of big gatherings, and getting to like travel to other areas and meeting like-minded people, especially in large groups like this.
Con is
Wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
We're all like-minded. I mean,
So,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of curious, like, I kind of have two questions in one, but like,
Mhm.
so what was like trying to like, obviously like with the recent episodes of One Piece, they've been kind of like really like getting out of the park with that, but like, what would you say is like your, I know it's kind of difficult, like, but what would you say is like, without, you don't need to like put a number to it, but like, what's your like favorite episode of One Piece? Like,
your number
you
one.
can say like one singular like,
Favorite singular episode of One Piece? Now
That's a challenge.
yeah, that is very difficult.
because I know like a lot of, there's been like a couple of recent like banger episodes that are like,
Yeah,
borderline movie quality, like, stuff.
yeah. I think it's still. I think it's still that last episode with the Mary, like that one.
Oh, yeah.
Like if there's like a singular episode that I would want to go back and relive the most, it would be the one that made me feel the worst.
And like kind of going off of that, like, what would you say is like the first episode of One Piece where you were like, oh, this show is special? Like, 'cause personally for me, it was
Arlong Park.
yeah. Personally for me, it was the episode of Arlong Park where the crew kind of like assemble for
Mhm.
Nami's sake. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they have the walk, but like I remember like the first time One Piece made me cry was also like the scene where like Nami's friends and family are like kind of giving up themselves, to like for
Yeah.
her sake.
Seeing Nami's, it's kind of a little bit of a joke that I made during this, but like it feels like just about every character in One Piece has a tragic backstory.
Oh yeah.
And to the point where it feels unnecessary. Like we saw side villains that had like these horrible backstories that, oh man, I felt like so bad for making fun of the guy wearing the diaper.
Oh.
I felt so bad for the baby man because like the whole time like he had a tragic backstory, and that's why he dressed up that way, and I just thought it was a fetish.
Oh my god.
Yes.
What character do you think had the worst plot development?
Oh
Ooh, that's a good one. I like it.
I would lean towards Horty. I don't think I don't really like Horty's character development because he felt like very one-dimensional. His plot with just pure hatred felt incredibly corny to me, and I wish that I just wish that they gave him like a better reason for taking his path. I feel like I liked the influence that Arlong had on him, and I like the idea behind it. I just don't think the execution was very strong. Yes?
Hello. So if there was anyone's story that you could change, who would it be?
Anyone's story?
Yeah, how they ended up being where they are right now, current. Who would it be?
Oh man.
Come with the hard hitters.
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. I think it would have been, I think there's a lot of cool side characters that would have made great Straw Hats. And the whole time I was like watching Dressrosa, I was kind of hoping and it kind of came true. But I was kind of hoping for Bartolomeo to join the crew because I loved him at first. I thought he was hilarious. He left an amazing impression on me. And then it turns out there's a few episodes where it's him and Luffy kind of tag teaming it. So that ended up being really cool. But I mean, yeah, just like watching him during the battles and not giving a care in the world, and while everybody else was fighting, he was just there standing taking a piss. It was hilarious.
Fanboy.
Yeah. Yes.
What character do you think shouldn't have been a Straw Hat?
Shouldn't have been a straw hat.
Ooh. Ooh, God.
Okay, so based on story alone, Robin's felt very sudden and uninspiring, and I liked what she did later on. But her introduction I didn't really care for, and like that whole time I was rooting for Princess Vivi. I wanted to see her be a Straw Hat. So yeah, if it were up to me, I probably would have made Princess Vivi be the next Straw Hat, and Robin wouldn't have been part of the group. I still like the way things unfolded, but it just wasn't how I would have pictured it. Yes?
So, on that note, is there like a character you're surprised, I guess Vivi's kind of off top, or like, I guess besides her, is there any character you're surprised didn't join the crew?
Man, hitting hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Vivi's the big one right there. There's not much else that I can really think of off the top of my head.
Like personally, like I remember like when they first introduced him, Polly from like the
Oh yeah, Paulie. Dude, I
kind of, like-
totally forgot about Paulie.
yeah, he kind of like had so much spotlight. Like
Yes.
I was kind of surprised when like Frankie like took the spot of Carpenter.
Yeah, for
But, like,
sure.
But when you go through it and saw, you're like, oh yeah, Frankie's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, Frankie ended up,
Kind of
I became a huge fan of Frankie later on. And he made like a wonderful shipwright for the
But
crew.
yeah, it was kind of just like surprising for me, like personally, like
Paulie
yeah,
made sense at the time.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we need a shipwright. Paulie's kind of a cool dude. He kind of has like the most personality out of like his associates.
Right, and you didn't really get to see that much of Frankie.
Yeah,
I mean,
Frankie's kind of a villain. at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, like
Kinda thought he
there was a
being
lot of
Frankie's.
mystery behind him, whereas Paulie was a bit more open-ended, and he was the good guy that was tricked and fooled, and yeah, just more like I feel like I could gush so much about the Letter 7. Yes.
If there's any arc that you could change, what would it be?
Any arc that I could change.
Yeah, like it's an arc that you didn't really like that you feel like this could have made it better.
Not necessarily, but I think it would have been very cool if Luffy completed his goal at Impel Down, where a bit of a spoiler for Impel Down, but Luffy doesn't reach Ace in time, and I thought it would have been so cool to see him be able to rescue him in time. I keep thinking about like that would have been just such a huge what if, and I would love to see like what would have happened to with them like escaping together, and like what kind of other butterfly effect that would have happened. What have we got on time? It's 7:40. All right. I think we should probably take off. You guys go ahead and enjoy yourselves. And yeah.
What do you mean enjoy yourself? You already have been.
This is great.
Absolutely.
This is legit, man.
Yeah, continue to enjoy yourselves. If you want to look up the archives, I've got them on my YouTube channel. Most of them are unlisted. I have the Day 30 one up. So you can go to the Day 30 archive, or actually on the front page of my channel, I have a playlist showing like all of the episodes that I reacted to on livestream.
Wait, how do you spell your thing? How do you spell your own name?
It's Pie Disliker, one word. So Pie and then Disliker.
P-I or P-I-E?
P-I-E.
Okay.
Yes. P-I-E-D-I-S-L-I-K-E-R. And that's on YouTube. That's where all the archives are. And then same name is on TikTok. I've been posting some con stuff.
Awesome,
But
that's
if you scroll down though, you'll be able to see like my immediate thoughts after each night. I'm currently constructing a recap episode that I want to post on YouTube later. And maybe I am hoping to attend another con next year. Don't know where it's going to be. I'm not from the area, so it's quite unlikely that Connecticon is going to be the next one that I attend. But I would love to be able to do a panel on the whole experience, but with the proper preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, 2 questions. Where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York.
Hey, you got some New York here right here.
What's that?
Not
We don't
bad.
have it, but still.
New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hit you with a year.
Yeah, I'm pretty far away from New York City. We don't have a lot of conventions from my area.
And also, too, are you a banana?
I am a banana.
Oh, okay, just making sure. That's what I've been wanting to ask all.
Yeah, I
all
was
things,
walking
but
around
it
as
was
a
off
banana all the
topic.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Banana, like
Yeah. And
the peanut butter jelly
yeah.
banana, or like a.
Yeah, peanut butter jelly.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had
I had
some
maracas.
breakfast. Yeah, exactly.
Chair.
And if anyone wants to like reach out to me afterwards, just hit me up on like my socials or whatever, and I'll try and message you back when I have time.
Yeah, because there's lots of cons around here. Like I know there's going to be one in Boston coming up sometime in August, I think. I know about that one.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty big one around springtime. It's a mega con. down in
Yeah,
Florida.
I gotta get my next job first so I can get more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Understandable.
I don't know if there's a way to turn this off. Maybe I'll just leave it here.
Let's leave, yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
You should probably maybe leave it on because
Yeah,
some
for
people are going to
whoever
come in
comes
around.